I switched drinks with my husband and he ended up in the ER. I woke up in our car with no idea how I got there. My husband was driving and I was slumped against the window with drool on my chin. What happened? He didn't look at me. You got blackout drunk and embarrassed me in front of my entire company. You told my boss his tie was ugly and spilled wine on his wife. I shook my head. No way. I only had one drink. You had 7. I counted. I had 1. He slammed his hand on the steering wheel so hard I flinched. This is what you do. You get wasted, you humiliate me, and then you pretend you don't remember. My boss watched me carry you out like a child. I might lose my promotion because of you. I'm telling you I only had 1 drink. And I'm telling you to shut up before I leave you on the side of the road. I didn't say another word the whole drive. The next morning, I found the receipt from the bar in my purse. I only got 1 gin and tonic. I started paying more attention when we went out, and I noticed he always handed me a drink right when I got comfortable at parties. I also noticed they tasted bitter, and he checked his watch after I drank them. When his company threw a retirement party, I decided to switch our glasses when he wasn't looking. 30 minutes later, he grabbed my arm. Something's wrong. I need to sit down. I helped him to a chair, and when he sat down, his head dropped forward and his breathing went shallow. Someone called 911, and in the ambulance, the paramedic kept asking me what he took. I don't know, but whatever it is, he's been putting it in my drinks for 2 years. Her hands stopped moving. Pardon me? He's been spiking my drinks, so I switched our glasses tonight. She picked up her radio to report what I told her. When we got to the hospital, the nurses rushed him into a room and hooked him up to monitors, while the ER doctor pulled me aside in the hallway. We're running a talk screen. Based on what the paramedic told me, I've already called the police. I sat in the chair next to my husband's bed and waited. A detective showed up 20 minutes later. She stood in the doorway and asked if we could talk somewhere private. I looked at my husband unconscious on the bed with wires on his chest and tubes in his arm. I'm not leaving this room. She nodded and sat down in the chair across from me. She pulled out a notebook and a pen. Tell me everything. So I did. I told her about the blackouts at every family function for 2 years. I told her how he convinced my own mother I was an alcoholic. He even staged an intervention last year. He got my sister and my best friends in a room and told them I needed help. I checked myself into rehab for 3 weeks because I thought I was losing my mind. The detective closed her notebook and looked me in the eyes. We're going to put him in jail, I promise. She pulled a pair of handcuffs from her belt and set them on the table next to his bed. Then we waited. 10 minutes later, I heard him groan and start to shift under the sheets. His eyes opened and found me first. Then the detective standing at the foot of his bed. Then the handcuffs on the table next to him. Baby, what's going on? The detective stepped forward. Your blood work came back with 3 times the standard dose of a sedative. He shook his head weakly. That's impossible. Your wife switched your drinks tonight. Does that clear things up? The mask fell off his face so fast it scared me. He looked at me with pure hatred. You ungrateful bitch. I did this for you. Do you know what you're like at parties? You talk and nobody cares. You corner people with boring stories. You laugh too loud. You chew with your mouth open. You're embarrassing. I had to sedate you to make you tolerable so people would actually like you for once. The detective picked up the handcuffs from the table. You're under arrest. She rolled him over and cuffed his wrists behind his back. He craned his neck to look at me one last time. You're nothing without me. You'll come crawling back. I looked at him in handcuffs, being dragged out of a hospital bed in a paper gown with no dignity left. I don't think I will.